It's out of there alive, but if he had not that summoner, he was dead meat.
Nice little moments. We're definitely seeing some action ramp up in the 10 to 15 minute phase here. Let's watch the replay. We don't know for certain, but let's assume EQ is up the entire time. No point using it when Ornn ultimate is up. The charge is down as well. So he knows that with the pillar, the charge, and the ultimate down, nothing can interrupt. The EQ is able to get out, and Trick very early understood that his life was done.
Not much he can do. That's not the way they anticipated that gank going either. It would have been fantastic to kill the Jarv and immediately drop Rift Herald, get that first blood turret, especially with already some pressure in the bottom side from MVP, trying to take out this turret here. You can see is below half health. But either way, nice response there. Pilot now is going to get that Rod of Ages just a little bit earlier on the Swain, which is always very important.
Around the 12-minute mark, which is pretty decent. In the duo lane, you pick up a lot of farms, so that's why Rod of Ages timing will be early, even if your levels are with shared experience. Here's the Rift Herald, and first turret of the game, in spite of the failed turret dive, will go to BBQ.
Pilot no ultimate here. Max just coming in and stealing some farm. Going to give that one over to Pilot, of course. And Max will take the Rift Herald, though. I don't believe that actually gives the support item gold to your AD carry, right? No. When you kill the Rift Herald?
It's 25 gold, so it's not that big a deal. ADD.
My AD carry would have been yelling at me.
That's true.
Solo queue.
If you find the wrong one, they certainly aren't impressed if they aren't served everything on the silver platter. Yondu walks up, just takes away the plant, denying it. It's a deep teleport from both teams here coming in.
Probably going to have to complete it here from Crazy. Immediately gets stunned up into the knockup. Pilot's here alongside ADD, and now Crazy has to flash away, but now Ian getting into position, wants to get a knock up onto Crazy. There it is. They're going to pull him in, and he's going to be dead meat on the backside. Trying to get that stun onto Trick. He does, but only the one kill will come through.
And it's a cool interaction. He actually overrid the stun coming out at the end of the Soul Shackles because he was mid-air in the last breath. Got the damage in. They cement the first kill. Well played by the side of MVP. Even though the deep teleport from BBQ was looking very threatening at the start.
It was a nice try at a play there from BBQ, but the immediate response from MVP was very nice to see as well.
Well done by the Sejuani. Teams are getting better and better at interrupting the second part of the Ornn Horn, and wasn't able to launch out that huge Poro. The stun, the CC would have already been there, but the Arctic Assault would have finished that one off.
Meanwhile, live as Ian was going really deep onto Tempt with the help of Yondu.
Yeah, Soul Shackles does arm. You can see the CC bar on Ian, but it's as the animation is going, so he doesn't actually lose any damage through that second stun of Ignar.
It's very important. High-level mechanics only here in the LCK.
Gotta appreciate the cool stuff when you see it. And with a comp like MVP's, with so many creative ways to set up the Yasuo, anytime he gets a kill or a kill assist, does really pad the road with gold, or pave the way with gold, I should say, as the game goes on.
Ghost here trying to show up compared to game one, where he absolutely did not show up. Has a very good start on the Kai'Sa here, getting 2 kills this early into a pretty early Guinsoo Rageblade is going to be pretty nice for him. This time he's a little bit more even on the farm down on the bottom side.
Seeming like AP Kai'Sa, which will overload them with magic damage, but he has so much set up plasma with Ornn, Morgana. You can really understand why he's gone that way, and he had a good laning phase, so didn't need to go into the Stormrazor.
Oh, hello.
Speaking of, they're rolling in.
Pilot could choose to go in if he did have the Sejuani a little bit closer there. But again, they didn't have much vision on the backside. Actually, really nice vision control from BBQ on the bottom side of the map. 4 control wards here to allow them to get into that position to try out the play.
They do have the deep vision for the next teleport coming through from Crazy as well. The ward to allow him to come in, but will be on cooldown for the next 180 seconds or so. Bot side, Yondu trying to recreate the gank that got them that nice lead in the bot lane, but the river control was the thing that allowed MVP to get that first play, and river control to the side of BBQ means that for now, just clears away the control ward and backs off.
Yondu definitely have a couple of games in a row, actually, defeating Trick in the jungle, you could say. He's been ahead in farm in both games 1 and 2. I think Part of that is to, in fact, be due to the Scuttle Crabs. He's 5-2. You guys can see that up at the top next to the towers there. And he's been really good at controlling the jungle and being on point and being ready for the ganks. 1-0-1 so far on the Sejuani.
Ian, ready for extended fights? With this many melee champions, no AD carry. Extended fights are definitely what you're expecting from the side of MVP, so we will be going for Steric's second, it looks like here, to survive in the front line. There will eventually be a knock-up for him to press last breath on. That part is guaranteed with the Dunk Master Space Jam comp they have going on. Let's see if that Space Jam's coming soon. Right now, the flag just used for vision into the advanced brush.
Yeah, a team like this where you don't really have that much Baron pressure, double Mountain would be fantastic for them to allow Yasuo, especially, to do even just crazier amounts of true damage to these objectives. Yondu trying to bait him in here, actually. I say that, but just assaults over the wall to retreat, but it is 5-on-5 out the Mountain Drake right now.
Sion can come through the river here if they want to engage something. Hasn't popped the ultimate yet.
At the end of the day, they can just zone them out from that bottom turret. Looks like Pilot's going to go for that. Still has his teleport. And at the end of the day, okay, let's see. BBQ now going for a 5-man push into the mid lane.
Have some range, but they're not going to turret dive Yasuo or Jarvan, so it just ends up being an out-rotation by MVP. Sadly, a all too common thing that we've seen in the LCK is moments like this where free objectives go the way of the team facing BBQ. Kai'Sa will pick up a big wave, and Kai'Sa win condition is always there. And they have a lot of fight starting when they're really ready to go. It never feels good to lose now, potentially more than one minion wave. Crazy not too worried about being turret dived, but the minions pushed in by Pilot and Max.
And also do a nice bit of damage on the front side here as Pilot. Pilot doesn't have that much mana, so just going to go for that. Has finished his Zhonya's. This is the core for Swain. Obviously, Rod of Ages into Zhonya's makes you so hard to kill in team fights. More of a zoner, you're not going to be bursting people down, but it's pretty nice to have that build completed already for Pilot, who's trying to go in onto Ghost, who is going to stay for the turret here. The Trundle is coming up the lane, but here's Dunkmaster Jarvan, going to get the double flash out of Ghost and Ignar already. Trick coming in, just saying hello for now, has the black shield on him, but he's got to be careful with the amount of damage.
Yeah, first rotation of the Azir, and yet still 2v3, soon to be 2v4. BBQ are going to back away. Orin did not have teleport to join, so I guess there was an outside chance it would end up 5 members MVP if it went long enough. With incomplete information, they back away. BBQ into position. Should note also that the dagger was not turned into the Stinger and thus Nashal's tooth. It's going to be second item Stormrazor, not what we usually see, but Ghost, considering all his options, now committing to potentially even 3 evolves on the build. Has the Stormrazor ready to go. It's 2-item Kai'Sa to add to the 2-item Swain you already discussed.
Take a look at the gold advantage here, a pretty volatile graph, going up and down, but mostly in the favor of BBQ at least.
Scale also between 0 and 2K, so not going to be too swinging in this early game. You can just look at the top and be results oriented and say 3 kills to 3. The Drake's largely uncontested. In fact, the Drakes really are the separator of the two teams here, as there's going to be a lot of them spawning if MVP keep taking them off spawn.
How about 3 Mountain Drakes? That would be pretty fantastic for MVP. We'll see if they can secure that one.
They go from a pretty crappy Baron team to actually a very reasonable one if they get 3 Mountain Drakes. Only Yasuo with consistent damage. Jarvan doing decent as well.
He's got some stuff. Yondu in here is going to just base check. Here comes the Sion from the bottom lane. That Black Shield going to help out Trick so much in trying to keep him alive. But here's ADD into the back line. Ghost able to hop his way out of that ultimate. But now in goes Pilot, and all the flash is going to be used up. Make it 1. How many more can they get? That's going to be a double kill to the Swain. The rest of BBQ able to get out of dodge, but definitely a very one-sided team fight to MVP.
Buy 1, get 3 free with these engage ultimates. They go wide. It doesn't matter. They still have the ability to close the gap with flash and get the kills. They'll steal a red buff, and we talked about that MVP conga line. It's going to one place. It's going to the Baron.
Yeah, well, with vision here, BBQ is going to know that this is started. Immediately, the TP comes in from the side of BBQ, but it's going to be 3-on-5 with just the smite here on Trick, but he does not have flash. No way to get into the pit. They are just going to give it up, and there you go. Yondu with his own smite will pick up the Baron.
An assertive Baron, but not a 50-50 Baron like BBQ granted in game number 1. Well done by MVP. We're going to watch the replay. Yondu just has the sweeper going, so aware that Trick is there. First ult misses, Sion ult misses. The Ornn ultimate actually gets answered by the ball. Nicely done by the Yasuo. That's what allows it to happen, because consider a different fight where the melees were super delayed by the Ornn ultimate. Didn't notice that on the first watch. After this, we've got gap close, we've got E-Flash coming through from the Yasuo. The kills will come in, the Baron is secured, and now ADD, Titanic
Whoa.
Hydra and a Baron. He's got a zoo of minions, and he's got a top lane turret as well.
Not going to push too far. It looks like he hasn't bought after the Baron, so just going to go for that. But how about Ian versus Ghost? Who's going to win this one? Well, a missed knockup from Ian means that Ghost is going to hop away, but we do have Yondu coming in from the backside, and the Morgana just a little bit too late. That means that Ghost too far up the lane is going to go down.
Bad luck Ghost. He outplayed the Yasuo pretty hard there, but then just a point-blank Sejuani ultimate will take him down. Gotta say, Ian misplayed that really hard. Didn't matter anyway because he's ahead, and like you say, Ghost was in the wrong position at the wrong time with no summoners. MVP push up mid lane, and even with the Azir, the wave clear is only going to delay for so long.
Got to put all their eggs in the tempt basket again. Not the first time I've said this, casting BBQ. It seems like pretty much every game is putting your eggs in the BBQ basket. But how about another dive here? MVP definitely thinking about it, as they don't have the best siege in the world, but you don't really have to when you're this far ahead.
Again, they have among the worst siege in the world. Probably one of the worst siege comps, probably top 10 ever in the LCK.
Nice.
And yet, when you get a Baron buff at 20 minutes, it doesn't matter, right? At the end of the day, it is very easy to siege when you're this far ahead with an immense dive. And say what you will about MVP and their flaws, not being manly enough on turret dives and engages is not usually a criticism for this team. They walk up, they're zoning away the Kai'Sa, has 2 items, but not a hope or a prayer of stopping the mid lane push, and still a minute 20 left of the Baron.
Yeah, all this extra gold that went to the side of MVP, especially to Swain, is paying off in dividends. I talked about 2 core. How about Leandri's third? That's just that luxury item where you feel like a god eventually in those fights. Doesn't have the best AP ratios, but does a lot of sustained damage, and Leandri is really going to help out with that on the backside.
MVP looking to go 2-0 up. Made the joke about top 10 worst sieging comps. MVP just want to be a top 10 Korean team because there's only 10 spots in the LCK, and as we all know, only 1 remaining. Best of 5 today to face tomorrow Team Battle Comics in a best of 5 to be that 10th place team. Ian backs off. He probably feels like he's pretty close to that first Yasuo win after all.
He's finally going to get one, perhaps. 1-0-3 win for the safer build with the Sterix. Will eventually get into that IE as his third item. Should be getting close to the gold, as he did go back sometime after the Baron. We've been out here for about 3 minutes.
Get yourself a support like Max who doesn't build no items for his mark. Case, of course, an awesome dude, but the awesome dude gets nothing out of Sion's Warmogs. I think he's trying to get as much health as possible.
You know, he's a big beefcake.
He knows he's not going to be top of the damage charts. He could be top of the maximum HP charts.
I would say yes. Probably even ahead of Crazy here. She went straight Warmogs. We'll have to check the stats after the game. Let's take a look at the gold advantage. Wasn't much of a graph before, but it was taken there at about 23 minutes by MVP. And now they're about to have triple Mountain Drake, which is going to make that second Baron even more tasty.
That is a 5,000 gold graph as well, rather than the 1 to 2K scale we had earlier. So things have definitely tipped heavily to the side of MVP. There will be 1 more Drake spawning, so potential for 5. But I hope they can just close the game before something like an Elder Dragon is even considered. Though second item was at a good timing, with the third one, with all of his lanes kind of collapsing around him, is going to be significantly delayed. Max walks up. He, of course, now gets more gold for his W passive when he walks up to one of those cannon minions that he took down. Again, it is purely for our own edification, but we want to know where those health values are at. For Crazy, for ADD, for Max, he may have the highest in the game.
We'll get there eventually. Even the Jarvan has a pretty high total, 29-25 currently. on that top side, but he just has a Titanic Hydra and a Black Cleaver. These other tanks should have a little bit more health overall. Ignar doesn't have much.
No,
1685.
We are, in fact, casting from the bottom left quadrant of the screen right now. Guys?
Maxing his Black Shield. Who would have thought?
People think the color casters spend all their time look at the bottom right at the minimap. No, no, no. We just check out people's health.
Yeah.
That's what we're all about over here. Ian, pretty rotund for a Yasuo because he went the Sterix build. Well, I mean, what word would you use?
Why does that make him rotund?
The more health you are.
He's still super skinny. Didn't change his
Look, you have more meat on your bones when you have more HP. Doesn't that make sense?
I guess so. Could be just like armor or health, though.
There is an armor stat.
Yeah, but, you know.
No, I don't know, apparently. You can't end your side of the argument with, well, you know. That's
Come on, you get it.
Did you do Model UN and try to use that?
Yeah, well, you know.
Well, this game has, like the commentary, gone off the rails.
This is what happens, guys, when the game kind of goes downhill.
I lost a lot of health this year.
Yeah.
No, I did. I lost some weight.
Yeah, that's true. I thought you were talking about your health. 6 times a week, casting League of Legos.
All I'm saying is definitely go on my Twitter halfway through next week. I have this amazing, it's actually a caster buff where I don't get sick during the season and can cast 100 bajillion games a week, but instantly afterwards, every sickness that was like around the corner hits me at once, so I'm deathly afraid of next week.
Hey, I mean, right now is the sickness season here in Korea. I think 4 or 5 people that are close to us, SpoTV staff, friends, a lot of them are getting sick right now, so we got to be careful.
We've only got 2 best-of-5s today and tomorrow to last through, Valdez. So we're doing our best here.
Okay, Morgana backing on a ward, but the rest of them coming around the bend. Right as that did happen. Not the deepest division here for MVP.
All we're looking for is a 6 Scion ult opening up a last breath. That's not too much to ask. There's still plenty of time for it. I'm not sure if Max has been playing that Scion.
How about just going for the Baron?
That's not as much fun. Come on, Max. Show us that last breath. Bend it like Beckham with this ultimate. That's what we're looking for. You already impressed us with your tongue lash mechanics.
ADD and Pilot here doing a good job zoning the rest of them from getting in. Banshee Veil, 4th from Pilot. Just, he has so much extra gold at this point. Might as well get something. BBQ.
Words are hard, Valdez.
BBPU. I mean,
hey, unbiased caster, please.
Hey, I mean, you know, game 2's been a little bit better.
Should we reverse roles for the rest of this game? We could do it, you know. I think I could be a play-by-play caster.
Can I be an analyst, though?
Do you want the real answer or the glass half full answer?
Let's give me the glass half full answer here.
Yeah, you could be whatever you set your mind to be.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Papa. You're the best.
Wait. Was that real or fake? Anyway, let's get back to this game. Crazy wave clearing in the bot side, denying us the Scion Speedway. Bend it like Beckham or drift to win.
When are we going to get Nunu?
Nunu's banned. Nunu is a world's exclusive.
Ooh.
And an ARAM exclusive.
I think we're definitely going to see that at least one game.
Nunu?
Yeah.
He's
in
not.
Worlds.
I don't know if he's good or not. I think you've played. I've actually only played against 2 Nunus, and only one of them was playing seriously. Let's say the other one. The other one liked to dance at the disco. So what would you say about Nunu? The
only Nunus that I saw were in the first 2 weeks after the change, I'd say. After that, I haven't seen another one. It's all right. The ganks are good if you can land the snowball. If the enemy team has, or not the enemy team, if your lanes have good gank assists, it's all right. But outside of that, kind of seems lackluster.
Do you think there was ever a patch rotation where the most used summoners on Nunu was Ghost and Cleanse or Clarity?
No. No, I don't think so. Although that would be, you know, if I were Riot, I would try to create a meta like that.
I know Riot's in an awkward spot because they obviously know the Disco Nunu meme. Do you make the Disco Nunu skin?
Yes.
It would sell a lot, but it sets a weird precedent, and they also didn't make wood tier, so I can understand the bind they're in.
Yeah, but you know, wood is kind of like an insult we use for Papa Smithy's League of Legends and other bad players in League. But when you're, I don't know, when you think about Disco Nunu, I guess maybe you're promoting people to use the scan and troll.
Who has the afro, Nunu or Willow? That's the question I think about with Disco Nunu. I think an afro is needed as a Baron.
Probably Willem.
Might be needed for MVP. I'm with you on the Willem, by the way.
Yeah.
Ghost is free hitting. Can there actually be a team fight BBQ wins?
Pilot's just CC forever here. Finally is able to get out of it.
Max just flashes out of the Baron, I guess.
Nice try, Crazy. If you know, maybe you get his Guardian Angel there.
Does Ghost press the R button? The answer's still no. I don't know why Sion flashed.
Still thinking about it. Maybe we'll have our answer a little bit later. But one Drake that BBQ might have a chance of getting here, especially with the Kai'Sa gonna roll up on in, and we still do have Kai'Sa Azir, and it is 35 minutes into the game. Infernal Drake definitely not the, well, pretty scary actually for the side of MVP.
Two people who use gold better than almost any other champion in League, and now you give them 8% more oomph. So at the end of the day, that's not actually that much separating MVP and BBQ. 3 Mountains couldn't get them a Baron. 3 Mountains couldn't get them an inhibitor at 34 minutes. So while we've been talking about is there a BBQ comeback after all?
Could be. I know there are some fans that are out there waiting for this exact moment. The moment when Ghost and Tempt carry the game. Definitely could happen as some extra stats are being added. You know, Zhonya's completed here for Azir. You have stopwatch for Ghost. You hit a good fight maybe at around 35 to 40 minutes, and both of those guys survive and output enough damage. You can definitely see this team beginning to catch up.
Meanwhile, MVP have 5 butter knives. They managed to serrate 30% more threat into their butter knives, but they're still butter knives when it comes to Baron. However, against champions, against different substances, I'm thinking Ian can do a lot of damage, but we did have Keen on the most ineffective yet fed Yasuo of all time. So let's see what can happen here. Ooh. This is not where MVP succeed. Max can do literally nothing other than clear wards.
Or hope that BBQ check one of the wards that they don't have warded. Okay, here we go. Max going in. The knockup is onto the Trundle, but he has the subjugate. It's going to be pretty tanky. Decides to go for the Banshee Veil. Pilot instead of the rest of the team does Crazy. I would say that's a mistake. In goes the Kai'Sa. Does have that damage alongside the Azir. And all of a sudden, Tempt and Ghost able to get in there. Do a nice amount of damage. MVP considering fighting still. Pilot is going to Zhonya's up here, but no flash on him means that he will go down. The rest of MVP being baited in. The flash on in from the side of Ghost, and it's not going to be enough damage to take him out. It looks like BBQ finally find that fight here. Are they going to take out Ian? Looks like perhaps not. Nice Emperor's Divide by Tempt, actually.
Trying to buy time.
To safety.
All about delay here from MVP. Don't want them to start the Baron. Kai'Sa's going to have to recall, but can still teleport back. A long time. The death time is just so long at this point in the game.
Here comes that TP, and Tempt has gotten enough health back from the plants to come on in here. 5 members of BBQ, and they're turning it around.
Really feels like MVP are lacking inspiration on how to close the game because they can't siege, they don't have siege, they can't do the Baron, they don't have Baron damage. So they play into the hand of BBQ. They're fighting in areas where they don't have wards, where Azir and Ghost can free hit. Just watch this fight and consider how much more damage Ghost and Tempt are able to put out than if this was on more even terrain for the side of MVP. The ult starts, the Scion Speedway comes in, but they can't kill Trundle instantly. That's not how Yasuo works. And they don't have any vision of where Tempt and Ghost are hiding. So by the time Ghost opens up, most of the threat, most of the ultimates are down. And they're really seeming to find a way here, MVP, to struggle to close this game.
The rest of MVP kind of just got baited in. ADD sticking around for a long time. Pilot coming on up and saying, hey, I'm not going to let you take my buddy down, but then he goes down as well. And just that extended fight, which is always going to be fantastic for Ghost and Tempt. Look at that damage. It's nearly 10,000 from the side of Ghost in that last fight.
It sounds surreal to say you have 3 Mountain Drakes, but no Baron damage. But just given the champs here, the only person with Baron threat is Ian. Maybe ADD second. The Swain doesn't have much, doesn't want to dump all his mana into the Baron once his other skills there for the turn. A lot of the champions are over the wall because they want to fight, right? They got a pick comp. They don't have really any hope of rushing it down. Ian isn't spending all his time in the pit. The one time they tried that, it was Ian and Sion, and they never got a knock-up to actually use the ultimate. Speaking of ults, one goes wide, though, and they should be able to chase down Crazy eventually.
Get the knock-up some way. There goes in the stun, as well as the Yasuo. Follow-up, nice little play here from Yondu to make his way down. And in the meanwhile,
6-item Kai'Sa. Yep. Never forget that. Those times when she threw out a zoning Void Seeker are over. This Kai'Sa has a lot of bark to back up her bite. And now suddenly, while the Baron is not going to lead to the base being broken, it's a minute and a half, doesn't know the base is going to be broken. Feels like more often than not, if you don't get the perfect team fight from MVP, if Yasuo isn't on top of the Kai'Sa and getting a kill, this could actually go very poorly for the side of MVP.
It's pretty rough. You got to have that really fantastic engage now where you catch probably both Ghost and Ignar, right? He could stay alive with that Guardian Angel. You have Black Shield on the backside with Ignar. And just the follow-up from Tempt could be deadly. So MVP, they don't, I don't know. It's kind of looking like the game has gone a little bit too far along now. We're here at 40 minutes, and it's kind of unfortunate that even though Ian has had a perfect game in terms of stats on the Yasuo, not really able to find that damage in the team fights.
It's one of those weird scenarios where I always like to think about, okay, with where the champions are at, if they fight on the best terms, how does it go? If somehow MVP were on top of the enemy team, we're still not 100% sure they win because Azir Ultimate, Morgana is one of the best at punishing 5 melee champions trying to fight. There's a lot of peel and knockback in those close quarters. Earlier in the game, when there's items out there, absolutely it works out. But we've already seen that if it's not ideal behind the Baron pit, they don't win straight up. So there's a lot of options here for BBQ. And perhaps less for MVP. Has their window closed now that we're past 40 minutes into the game? Usually when it's Azir Kai'Sa as threats, the answer, whatever the team comp on blue side, is yes. So BBQ using the pillar to zone, pushing up the Kai'Sa in the mid lane, and MVP looking for a brush camp and looking for a hope to get into one of these 5v5s.
I thought maybe they just go desperation mode and go straight onto the Elder with their triple mountain and try to start it, but again, still a lack of damage.
30% is what you get from Mountain Drake, but it's not real numbers, it's percentage numbers, and they don't have a lot. So 30% more is still kind of not much. And that is the struggle that MVP have held for the greater part of it. Feels like 20 minutes now. They kite downwards, they want to find anything resembling a 5v5 where they can see all enemy champions in BBQ. That's the last thing they can give to MVP.
How about another brush camp here from the side of MVP? BBQ, absolutely no, this is the case. There is a ward in the pit that has been stopped by actually a control ward from MVP. ADD, kind of a funny scene, just trying to block them. Look at the damage, though. Those Mountain Drakes actually helping out, and they're just going to sneak away the Elder here. Now they're going to catch Crazy once again. He's super tanky. But again, the rest of his team has left him essentially just to die. So the Elder Drake with 4 Elemental Drakes, by the way, and a kill to MVP.
Not sure if there were any blue trinkets. Kai'Sa is available. They gave a long leash for them to actually take it down. And eventually, of course, they'll take the objective. Ends up just being donated to the side of MVP. They've got, like you say, now a lot of true damage. So if they find the right... So they actually auto the ward, which is pretty suspicious. Normally you don't put down a control ward and auto it. They auto it twice. The control ward is there, it's below the scoreboard, but they auto the ward, which provides vision. It feels like BBQ, if they had razor-sharp communication, could have made a more informed call than they made there. They had a blue trinket available, and it feels like they had everything available. They had a recipe with all the ingredients, and yet we still see the Elder go the way of MVP.
Well, they're going to have it here for about a minute and a half now after going back and buying all their items. Pretty much everybody should be at 6 items at this point, which means even Sion is going to be ridiculously tanky. as this game does go along. TP from Pilot into the mid lane as they were thinking about going and pressuring down into the mid inhibitor, but kind of just decide against it at the last moment.
Well, they have to straight up dive, and there is definitely a downside when Zhonya's GA, the Ornn items are being stacked up. Don't have to shout about them just yet. It's not 94 minutes. It's got 51 minutes till that comes. One onto the Azir and the Kai'Sa. There's 6+ items, Valdez. That's scary. So degree of difficulty on the dive going down.
They're just literally sitting in the jungle and hoping that BBQ face checks them. But the thing about BBQ is that if I were MVP at this point, I'd say, let's just do the Baron. Because BBQ is so passive, they don't seem to care. Even if they have vision and you're starting an objective, they're like, whatever, it's yours. I don't really seem to, it doesn't really seem to matter to us all that much.
Trundle Pillar doesn't show it anymore, of course, so no vision from that. And they are taking your advice, Valdez. They're deleting the Baron in half a second.
Yeah, it is going to go over to the side of MVP after 40 minutes and the second Baron. They're going to be pretty happy with the buff they're getting. Let's see if MVP can finally begin to break the base.
And let's see if what Riot did. Remember, in response to the 94-minute game, Baron scales in terms of the stats it gives till 40 minutes, so they're getting maximum power Baron. Won't see a second Elder for a while. That doesn't spawn for quite a few more minutes. But the whole idea was you cannot turtle with, at the time, Azir Sivir. Here it is, the Azir Kai'Sa, and not find blood in your hands. There's plenty of blood in the hands of BBQ. And yet, because it is such a severely poor siege comp, if MVP don't dive, it's going to be tricky for them to end the game.
As for now, it looks like everybody's grouping up in the lane that's pushed the farthest down one of the lanes. And they're going to leave ADD in the mid lane, as there's a pretty massive wave there as well. So they can just go 1-4, wait until that one pushes in, do a little bit of poking onto the turret with ADD, and then perhaps group them up and go for a bit of a dive. We'll see if they actually do go for that dive in this push.
I think Sion should be the first one in. If he's tanking the turret, you're feeling pretty good about it. Good lane wards here from BBQ, so they have full information of the push that's happening. Sion's pulling away, bringing up the minion wave with Baron, I believe. Here we go. Who's first in, Valdez?
Sion, right? I mean, that's what we'd hope here. Just got to wait for Max to have his moment. Azir, obnoxious as ever. ADD's going to get bound up, and you can see already that damage coming out of Kai'Sa, going to chunk ADD. In goes the ultimate there. It's going to chunk down Ghost as well. Not going for the dunk just yet. Here's that disengage Ornn ultimate with the 3-man. Knock him into the backside, but nobody on MVP will die, and they get the dunk here onto Ignar. Will that W be timed? No, it will not, and Ignar will be able to flash away from it. Oh man, Azir is doing insane damage now at the end of these fights.
Kind of amazing that no one dies, though, with how many ultimates were used, the disengages, the flashes were up, and thus no one dies. This is definitely advantage BBQ. They're wasting this Baron timer. 1 minute 10 left, and if we see full resets, that's the Baron threat gone, and BBQ live to fight another day.
Can hardly believe it, but it seems like that's what's going to happen here. Insane gold numbers on some of these members. 21,000 on Kai'Sa right now.
So Sejuani surprisingly ends up first one in, throws out the ultimate, I believe, to start off this script. Here we go.
Good
Hits
angle.
Ghost, and with the true damage and the just vision of Empire, unlikely poke tools, but it does huge damage this late in the game. But the Trundle Pillar was the first delayed, then the Ornn ultimate. I think MVP was smart because they waited out a lot of cooldowns before they actually went in. But they don't have chase. They can't really flash under the turret to do damage. It's not going to be deletion damage at this point, and Ian never goes in, so can never get any value. So it comes down to the champ select that doesn't really help them in that scenario. And now, amazingly, it might have to be a second Elder to actually close the game here for MVP. I'm not sure how much BBQ will need. If they actually get a 5-for-0 ace, they can rush down mid lane, and with Azir Kai'Sa, basically the turrets instantly explode on sight.
It's Azir Kai'Sa. Everybody has 5 items, and the other members on the team, you know, the supports aren't going to be quite there. But we got double Ornn item as well on both Azir and Kai'Sa, which is also just even that much more obnoxious. The amazing edge for Ghost, and the ultimate Zhonya's for Tempt.
No big hats, though. No super sweet hats.
Yeah.
Crucially, Tempt is actually short of Void Staff, as I can see. He only has the Blasting Wand there, so I guess that was a 1,000 gold spend it earlier issue. Usually it's just the ultra last item, as everyone else is treating it. In terms of CS values, no Flame Horizons yet, other than the jungle. Amusingly, Yondu is actually 100 CS ahead of Trundle. But otherwise, Flame Horizon probably incoming in mid lane as Azir in these late game scenarios hoovers up every minion wave.
MVP's strategy has not changed throughout this entire game. Now, especially that they can't dive any turrets or get into the base, they just wait, put down control wards, and try to catch someone slipping, essentially. But
what the latest time the first inhibitor turret went down is in a professional game? Because there are all inhibitor turrets, even though we're 49 minutes in.
Why don't we ask our stats team about that one, Papa Smithy?
We don't have a stats.
I mean, you should go look on your laptop.
Whoa!
I was saying, you are the stats team here.
Going behind the curtain.
Well, we got Elder in 30 seconds here, and Baron up in about 2 minutes. So we might have some action, guys. Stay tuned. Don't fall asleep just yet. It's more where that came from.
Been a long time since someone died. Words that out of context are very dodgy and kind of suspicious. Why would you be talking about that in real life? In League of Legends, the sort of thing that people shout about in Twitch chat and also casters shout about in their minds. Here is the aforementioned second Elder. Remember, if BBQ get it, it is only their first Elder. As you need to get both buffs, they do stack. BBQ started up, and they've certainly got damage onto it.
That they do. The Azir Kai'Sa, but now they're looking for the turn. Jumping onto ADD right now is Ghost, and ADD doesn't have his flag. He's going to get into the pit here, but now that Dragon rather, is going to get super low. It does reset, but not enough here. Should be taken, unless the steal comes in. No, it does go to Ghost. That is going to be the first Elder heading over to the side of BBQ.
It gets them 4% more AD, AP, and of course the true damage buff, but the denial from MVP is the important thing. Have they waited long enough, BBQ? They're emerging from the hibernation that 50 minutes provides. The Azir and the Kai'Sa, and you know what? They clearly had a gym when they were hibernating. They look pretty buff right now and ready to take these fights. The Void Star finally there for Tempt. Ghost goes and finds a minion wave. They've got an on ultimate. They've got some initiation, but can they actually find a way to, come on, at least take these inner turrets?
It's a good question. Will it actually happen here? We just passed the 50-minute mark, almost 51. I wonder if MVP with their dunk combo, can they just try to sit here and bait BBQ into a fight and maybe even win, even though they have the Elder Drake? If they can get that dive onto the Kai'Sa or the Azir, perhaps, but otherwise, absolutely not.
And the penultimate day, maybe we'll find a way to break the record, Valdez. 94 minutes, looking achievable based on how this game has gone. Hopefully, the second Elder for both teams, I guess, would be a contested objective. We'll wait on that one. It may actually end up being less of a joke and an actual reality. BBQ kiting upwards. It'd be the second Baron post 40 minutes for the max stats it provides. We lamented how little MVP were able to get.
Okay, here we go with the Elder. Look at how much Baron damage they have. Looking at turn, though, trying to get the... Okay. Well,
zoning.
Never mind.
Zoning play there from Tempt. Nice zone created by that Shurima shuffle. They know that's down. Suddenly getting on to Ghost gets a bit easier. His flash is up, his ult is up, but the Azir ultimate disengage.